Hello and welcome students. We are into the 15th video lecture of the lecture series made on the subject Mechanics of Solid, whose subject code is ME201, and the topic which we are going to discuss today is the support reactions and different types of loading. We are on the first we can say we are on the first step, we are on the first topic of the particular shear force and bending moment concept. So focus on this topic because it is important in every questions related to the shear force and bending moment. We are going to first of all calculate the support reactions. So please pay attention to this video lecture today. I am Shri Krishna Mishra, assistant professor in the department of mechanical engineering, Suresh Gyan Vihar University, Jaipur. So let's first of all explore the lecture objectives of today's lecture. The objectives of today's lecture are: first, to know about the different types of supports. Though in the previous lecture we have dealt with the different types of support, but based on the types of support we are going to see how the mathematical concept is developed. Mathematical concept means whether there is any horizontal force that will be acting on that particular support, whether there will be many moment that will be developed on the support, and this is very important if we want to calculate the end reactions or support reactions. So first of all, what we are going to do, we are going to know about the different types of supports. Then after, one more thing, we are going to, in the second objective is what? We are going to calculate the support reactions for different types of support. We are going to calculate the support reactions for different types of support. And the third objective is to know about the different types of loads and beams. Third objective is to know about the different types of load and how we will calculate the end reactions for that particular load arrangement and that particular beam. We are going to see that. So basically whole of the concept is based on calculation of the end reactions, and the calculation of the end reactions depend on the type of load, the type of support, and the types of beam. So based on that we are going to do some numericals to gain more clear understanding of the concept of calculation of end reactions. So let's move further. First of all, the type of loading. There are basically three types of loading, students. Though there are many types of loading, students, there are many types of loading, but here in broad sense we can say that though there are many types of loading, yet the following which I am going to tell to you, the following are important for the subject, this particular subject point of view. So what are those three types of loading which we are going to discuss today? First is your concentrated or point load. All right. Second is your uniformly distributed load, and the third is your uniformly varying load. Now what are they? First of all, let's see what is concentrated or point load. See, normally I can draw the diagram and make you understand. In concentrated or point load, what happens if this is a beam? Then the load is considered to act at any point, at a very small portion, which can be considered as a point. The load might be considered to be acting at any point. Such type of loads are known as concentrated or point load. Now uniformly distributed load, in the case of uniformly distributed load, what happens? The load is considered to be acting not at a point, it is considered to be acting at a not at a point, but at a large distance, but at a large area. So in that case, such cases are known as uniformly distributed load. And the third Third one is uniformly varying load. Uniformly varying load means the load is neither concentrated at a point, the load is neither uniformly distributed over a small portion, but the load is uniformly increasing from one point to the other. How? See, if the load is uniformly increasing from this point to here, all right, in this way, if the load is increasing in this way, then such type of load which uniformly increase, such type of load which uniformly increase from one point to the other, you can see here at this portion, portion student, here the load value is 0, and here the load value is maximum. All right, here the load value is maximum, and load is uniformly increasing. Uniformly the load is increasing from here to here in this way. So such type of loads are known as uniformly varying load. Now let's have a deep understanding of these three types of loads. As I have told you, concentrated or point load. Concentrated or point load are those load which are concentrated at a point, which are acting at a point. All right, the load which are acting at a point on the beam. This AB is your beam, students. This AB is your beam, and the load W1 and W2, the load W1 and W2, these two are acting at some points here and here. Therefore, such type of loads are known as concentrated or point load. One more thing, when a load acts concentrated at a definite point, then it is named as concentrated or point load, as you can see in the figure. For more understanding, you can look into this figure. All right, this is the column, this is the beam, and this is the point load which is acting on the beam. And for pictorial, generally during the numericals we are going to draw such diagram. These are the reaction forces developing. All right, means these are the portions of the load which are beared by the individual support. If 6 kilonewton is the load and it is symmetrically distributed over the two supports, then each support will share half of the load with it. Then coming into the second type of load which I have told to you is the uniformly distributed load. As I have told you, uniformly distributed load is spread over a beam. It is spread over a beam, and it is spread in such a manner that each unit length is loaded to the same extent. It is, first of all, first thing is that it is spread. First thing is that it is spread over a beam. All right, and the second thing is that it is loaded in such a way that, in such a manner that each length is loaded to the same extent. Each unit length is loaded to the same extent. As you can see in this diagram now, the load is W per unit length, means each length has the load W. Each length has the load W, means load is not varying from anywhere. It is constantly, it has a constant value everywhere. Therefore we are writing that the load is W, small w, per unit length. In each unit length the load is small w. All right, such type of loads are known as uniformly distributed load. Two conditions I have told you. What are the two conditions for uniformly distributed load? And one more thing, uniformly distributed loads are in short named as UDL. Uniformly distributed load. In short, it is known as UDL. Moving further, the total uniformly distributed load is assumed to act at a center of the gravity of the load for all sort of calculations. Now what we will do, students, during the calculation part, where we will calculate the support reactions or any calculation of shear force or the bending moment, what we will do with this uniformly distributed load, we are going to consider it to act at its center, means whole of the load. What is the complete load? The complete load can be given in this way. Since the load is length, let us consider that the length is L. All right, small l. Let's say the length is small l, on which the uniformly distributed load UDL is acting. Now since UDL is small w per unit length, small w per unit length, therefore the total load acting on the beam due to it becomes equal to small w into L. All right, and where we will consider it to be acting, we will consider it to act at the center. We will consider it to act at the center. Center means where? Center means we will consider this whole is L, means the point load to which we are considering as a replacement for this uniformly distributed load, it will be considered to be acting at the center, means L by 2 distance from one of its endpoint. L by 2 distance from one of its endpoint. All right, this particular distance from here to here, this is half of the total distance. This is half of the total distance, means this is what? This is your L divided by 2. All right, so I hope you have understood that the whole load is assumed to act at the center of gravity of the load. The whole load is assumed to act at the center of the gravity of the load for all the sort of calculations. So this was uniformly distributed load. This is another diagram by which you can understand. I have zoomed the diagram. So the same is there. Unit, if you want to know the unit, then what will be the unit? It will be Newton per meter. All right, if the intensity is constant along the length, then it is known as UDL. Coming into uniformly varying load. Now what is uniformly varying load? As I have told to you students, in the case of uniformly varying load, the load is not constant. The load is not constant over the entire length. Here also you can see that the loading is not constant from here to here. It is increasing. It is increasing in this way. All right. It is not constant. It is increasing in this way. In this way, it is increasing. So you will make the line in this way. All right, so load is constantly increasing in this way from here to here. So in such type of loads, students, where the load is spread over a beam, this is the first condition, that the load should be spread over the beam. The load should be spread over the beam, and it should be spread in such a manner, that it should be increasing uniformly, means that its extent varies uniformly on each unit length. That means that from one side it is W per unit length, and on the other it will be increasing to W2 per unit length. From W1 per unit length to on the other end it is W2 per unit length. So you can see that the load has continuously varied from one point to the other, from W1 per unit length to the W2 per unit length. This means that this is the case of uniformly varying load. All right, now students, I hope uniformly varying load is also understood by you. During the calculation, I will tell you how we consider the load and where we consider the load acting. Whenever the load is distributed along the length of the beam, varies in intensity uniformly according to some law, then it is assumed as uniformly varying load, and we can see in the figure also here. We can see in the figure also that the load is varying. All right. It is supported by a simply supported, and from one side it is roller supported, and the load is varying. On one end it is 220 Newton per meter, on the other end it is 890 Newton per meter. So load is constantly varying. This is the pictorial diagram of this particular whole beam on which the load is acting. Then after, we will now, though we have known in the previous lecture also different types of beams, now we will calculate the end supports for different types of beams. We all know that the different types of beam, that we all know in the previous lecture. I have told to you, if you have not seen the previous lecture, go to the previous lecture. In the previous lecture, the lecture number 14th, I have told you about the different types of beams, different types of supports which are there, all right, for the beams. So you can go there. In brief, I can tell you here, since I am going to calculate the end reactions for the different types of beams. So in brief, I can tell you that there are basically in broad sense three types of beam. All right, they are based on the types of support. They are based on the types of support. And what are those beams? What are those beams? First is your simply supported beam. All right, simply supported. Simply supported means in this way that they are just resting. They are just resting in this way. All right. Roller supported means the beam is supported by a roller. The beam is supported by rollers. All right, in this way. Then in the the first case is generally a conceptual case, not the real cases, because generally in the recent times no beam is kept just kept on the support. There has to be some joint. Either it should be a roller joint, roller support, or it can be some fixed support. So the first is the conceptual theoretical type of beam. Second is the roller supported beam. This is seen. Roller supported beam is frequently seen in the bridges. Why? Because it allows the extension and contraction of the beam during the temperature change. As the weather changes, you all know the temperature goes higher in the summer and goes lower. It comes down in the winter season. So this roller support, it adjusts to that increase and decrease of the length of the beam due to this thermal stresses. And the third is the hinge beam. Third is your hinged beam. All right. So hinge support, you all know that as in the case of door also has a hinge joint with that its bead. All right. So that is an example of the hinge joint. So these are the different types of beams based on the end support. Now let's move into first one, the simply supported beam. Students, the simply supported beam is symbolically represented in this way. Means if we take one of its end, so the support reaction that will be acting, we will show in this way. We all know that support reactions arrow is always upwards. All right, so let the reaction be RA here. It is a theoretical case, as I have already told you. It is a theoretical case in which the end of the beam is simply supported over one of its support. All right, basically if this is the first case of simply supported beam, and in this simply supported beam case, this is basically a cantilever beam. This is basically a cantilever beam. Cantilever beam. All right, students, this is basically what? This is a cantilever beam in which you have only one support. Means on one side here it is having, here it is fixed to the wall. All right, and it has only one side where it can be loaded. So if the beam is supported only on one side, then it is known as cantilever beam, and cantilever beam looks in this way. But if you ask about simply supported beam, then in the case of simply supported beam, you have two supports, and wherever you have support, there you get the reactions. All right, in this way, RA, and if the point is B, you will write RB. Now moving, one more thing, in the case of simply supported beam, always keep in mind that the reaction is always vertical. As you can see here also, reaction is always vertical towards upwards in the case of simply supported beam. Now what we will do, we will solve this example based on the simply supported beam. Here the beam is simply supported. So let's see what the question says to you. First of all, the beam is simply supported. Name is AB, means from here to here this is the beam. This is AB is the beam. All right, and in the beam the total length is 5 meter. It is loaded as shown in the figure. Find the reactions at A and B. We have to find the reactions at A and at B. Means we have to calculate. We have to calculate RA, means here it is supported and here it is supported. We all know that in the case of simply supported beam, the reaction is generally the reaction is generally what? RA, and we are going to calculate RA. Reaction is generally upwards, so this is RA, and on this end support B, here you will get reaction RB, here you will get reactions RB. All right, so RA and RB we have to calculate. Now the loads which are given to us, the load which are given to us are 3 kilonewton, 4 kilonewton and 5 kilonewton. These three are the loads. Now let's move into the solution, how we will solve. See, as I have already told you, generally if the beam is statistically determinate beam, then its end supports can be easily calculated by the three conditions of equilibrium. All right, so we all know that simply supported beam is a statistically determinate beam. We can determine its end reactions with the help of three conditions of equilibrium. And what are the three conditions of equilibrium? The three conditions of equilibrium are, first is what? Summation of all the horizontal forces equal to 0. All right, second is what? Second is your summation of all the vertical forces is equal to 0. Third is what? Summation of moment of all the forces about any point is equal to 0. All right, put the summation symbol before each term. Summation of moment about any point, let the point be A. Let the point be A. Then the summation of moment about point A should be equal to B. Either you can take about the point A or you can take about the point B. So with the help of these three, conditions, with the help of these three conditions of equilibrium, what are these? These are the three conditions of equilibrium. What are these? These are the conditions of equilibrium. Conditions of equilibrium. All right. So with the help of these three conditions of equilibrium, we are going to calculate the support reactions. So one thing you can see here, that there is no horizontal force acting. As you can see, all the forces are vertical, and therefore the support reactions are also vertical. So first condition is not needed. First condition is not needed. Coming into the second condition, students. Second condition is summation of all the vertical forces is equal to 0. This means that forces coming down, all right, forces coming down will be equal to the forces going upwards. All right, because its summation should be equal to 0. So it can be written in this way: forces going upwards. Now what are the forces? What are the forces, students, which are going downwards? The forces which are going downwards are 3, then after plus, then 4, then plus, then 5. These are the forces going downwards, and that will be equal to the forces going upwards. As I have told you, there are two supports, and two supports means the two reactions which are going upwards. Therefore this forces, summation of forces going downwards will be equal to RA plus RB. It will be equal to RA plus RB. All right, in this way. So from this we can get, this implies that RA plus RB is equal to 3 plus 4 plus 5. It is equal to 12. 12 is RA plus RB. So you have got this first equation. You have got this first equations between the unknowns RA and RB. Now the second equation you will get from this moment equation. What the moment equation says? Moment condition of equilibrium for moment says that the moment about any point will be equal to 0. So let's calculate the moment of all the forces about this point A. So how we can write it? We can write it in this way. We can first of all simplify it and write in this way, that clockwise movement, this is anti-clockwise movement will be equal to, clockwise movement. Anti-clockwise movement will be equal to clockwise movement in this way. All right, so as you can see, if A is the point from which moment is to be calculated, then the moment is basically what? Force into distance from that point. force into perpendicular distance from that point. So here all the distances, you can see the forces are acting at perpendicular. Forces are all perpendicular. Forces are all perpendicular, you can see, students. So, and the distance is also there for 3 kilonewton. The distance will be from here to here. How much it is? It is 2 meter. All right. This is 3 kilonewton force, and the distance from point A is 2 meter. So how can we write it? How can we write it? We can write it. It is equal to 3 moment. I am taking out which moment? I am taking out the clockwise moment. So 3, first of all, first force is 3. So 3 into, what is the distance? 2 meter. Then plus symbol. Then what is the second force? Second force is, what is the second force? Second force is this one, 4 kilonewton. And what is the distance? What is the distance? How we will calculate the distance? Distance, you will have to add these two values, because the distance we need, the distance which we need is from here to here. So 2 plus 1 means equal to 3. 3 is the distance of force 4 kilonewton from the point A. This means that how we will write in this text form? We will write this as 4 into 3. All right. Again a plus symbol, because we have one more force here. We have two more forces actually. The next force is what? The next force is 5 kilonewton. The next force is 5 kilonewton. And what is the distance? Which distance we will take? We will take the distance from here to here. How we will calculate this distance? We will have to add this value given, this distance given, as well as this distance given, in order to calculate the distance, complete distance of 5 kilonewton from point A. So it will be equal to 2 plus 1 means it is equal to 5. All right. So in this way, here you correct this thing. Actually this is not 2 meter. If it would be 2 meter, then the whole complete distance is also 5 meters. So don't take it 2 meter, students. It is 1. Correct it. This is not 2. This is your 1 meter. This is your 1 meter. All right. So in this way, we will write the moment equation. And moment equation I have told to you, all the clockwise moment. If I write all the clockwise moment, then it is equal to what? I have told to you 3 first of all into 2, then plus 4 into distance of 4 from the point A, 4 into, it is equal to 3, then again plus 5 into distance. What is the distance? Distance is 4. All right. And with this will be equal to what? This will be equal to the clock. One more is there. This will be equal to the anti-clockwise moment. And anti-clockwise moment about this point A, anti-clockwise moment about this point A will be given by which force? Will be given by which force? It will be given by this force B. It will go in this way. All right. So this is basically what? This is your anti-clockwise moment. All right. The anti-clockwise moment will be given by which force? This RB. This RB force will give you anti-clockwise moment. This RB force here, it will provide you the anti-clockwise moment. I hope you have understood. So what will be the moment by RB? It will be equal to the anti-clockwise moment about this point A. It will be equal to how much? It will be equal to RB. It will be equal to RB into multiply by its distance. What is the distance from A to B? It is 5. So RB into 5. This is the anti-clockwise moment, and it is equal to, as I have told you, 3 into the distance 2, then plus 4 into distance is 3, then plus 5 into the distance is what? Distance is your 4. And from this equation we can calculate, the value of RB. All right, from this equation we can calculate the value of RB. And when RB is calculated, the very first equation which we have obtained was what? It was your RA plus RB. RA plus RB is equal to how much? Is equal to summation of these three forces which are going downwards. 3 plus 4 plus 5. It is equal to 12. So these are the two equations, students. These are the two equations. Putting the value of RB which will be calculated here, we will get the value of RA from this equation, RA from this equations. All right, so in this way it can be calculated, first of all RB and then RA. So let's see the solution. What is the values here? As you can see now, the solution of this question, first the same thing, we have found the anti-clockwise moment, then the clockwise moment. Then what we have done, we have equated the clockwise moment and the anti-clockwise moment, and by equating the clockwise and the anti-clockwise moment in the same way which we have followed in the previous slide, we have obtained the value of RB. First of all, it is 7.6, and then after we have obtained the value of RA, and that is equal to 4.4. So in this way both RA and RB are now calculated. I hope you have understood this numerical. Coming into the next one, this is the case dealing with the uniformly distributed load. As you can see, let's first of all read out. This is a simply supported beam. All right, span is 6 meter, means the total length student from here to here, they are giving you, it is equal to how much? It is equal to 6 meter. Now we have to calculate the value of reactions. We have to calculate the reactions. We have to basically calculate the value of RA. All right, RA and RB. So how we will calculate? As I have told you, there are, first of all, look into the type of load which are acting. So the type of loads which are acting are, you can see this is the point load, and the distance from point A, this end point A is also given to you. But the only thing, first of all, which we will have to do will be with this particular force, which is this force. This is your uniformly distributed load, and for uniformly distributed load, students, I have told you that we consider the whole of the UDL to be acting at a point. And what is that point? Point is at it's a center, means if the UDL total length is 1.5 meter as is given here, if the UDL total length is 1.5 meter, then it will be acting at a 0.755 from one of its corner, means from here, from this particular portion, students, from here the position of that concentrated load which we are supposing in place of this UDL, it will be at a distance of 0.75 half. All right, so and what will be the value of that load? So the load which will be acting here, which is supposed to be having the same value as that of UDL, so that point load value will be equal to how much? See, the load given to you, UDL given to you, is 2 kilonewton per meter, and what is the total length of this UDL? It is 1.5 meter. So we can write that the total load that is acting here is 2 into what is the total length? 1.5. all right, so this is the load which we will consider. Now we will ignore this whole of the UDL, and in that place we will consider at the point load. We will consider this point load, students. All right, now first of all, the same thing we will do. We will apply the conditions of equilibrium. What are the conditions of equilibrium? First is the summation of all the vertical forces equal to 0, because there is no horizontal force, so directly we will take it to the second condition. Second condition is summation of all the vertical forces equal to 0. This means that what are the forces which are acting going downwards? First is your 4 kilonewton force, then plus second is your 1.5. first of all, I am taking the forces which are point loads. Then the third one is your point load which is made in place of this UDL, and that is what? That is equal to 2 into 1.5. so this particular load which is going downwards, the sum of the load which is going downwards, it will be equal to the sum of the loads going upwards. And what is that? That is the reactions at A and B, RA plus RB. all right, so this is the first equation. What you will get? You will just plus these values. These are what? 1.5 into 2, it is equal to 3. 3 plus 4, it is 7, and 7 plus 1.5, it is equal to 8.5. so it is 8.5. 8.5 is equal to what? It is equal to RA plus RB. All right, students. So this is your first condition and first equation. The equation which you have obtained from this first condition is your RA plus RB is equal to 8.5. Now we will apply the second condition of equilibrium. Summation of moment about any point should be equal to 0. Now now calculate all the first of all clockwise moments. So the clockwise moment will be from 4 kilonewton force. So 4 kilonewton force, you can see 4 kilonewton force distance is 4 kilonewton force distance is how much? From point A it is 1.5. Then plus what is the second force? Second force is 2. Second force is 2 into 1.5 means 3. 3 into what is this distance from RA? Now distance you will have to add 1.5 plus 0.75. 1.5 plus 0.75. 1.5 plus 0.75. All right. So this will give you the total distance of this point UDL from point A. Then the next force is the student 1.5. 1.5. And what is its distance? Its distance is distance. How much is its distance? Its distance is 1.5 into the distance is 1.5. Add all the values or just minus 6, 1.5 from 6. So it will be equal to how much? It will be equal to 4.5. So 4.5 is the distance of 1.5. Now these are all the clockwise moment which will be produced about the point A. Now the anti-clockwise moment will be produced by RB. So how much is that? It is RB into distance of B from A. So distance from B from A is 6 meters. Now this becomes your second equation. And from this equation you can calculate the value of RB. All right. So students, as you can see what I have done here, first load was your 4 kilonewton and the distance was 1.5. So here I wrote that. Second was your 2.5. 2 into 1.5 means 3. Force is 3 and the distance will be total from here to distance will be from here to here. And how much is that distance? You will have to add this 1.5 and 0.75. So that is this particular term. Coming into the third one, 1.5 into 4.5. This is the third force and its distance from this A will be this much. How we will calculate this particular distance? It will be equal to, you will have to minus this 6 meter. You will have to minus this 6 meter from 1.5 meter. All right, and you will get the distance equal to 4.5. So in this way the second moment equation we have done. From this RB we will calculate, students, and we will put into the first equation. So I hope this particular concept of finding is also understood to you, where UDL is acting. Let's see the solution. This is the solution which I have explained to you. We have calculated the anti-clockwise moment, clockwise moment. We have equated these two, and finally we have obtained first of all RB, and we have put this value of RB in the equation of condition of vertical forces equal to 0, and we have obtained RA and RB. RA is 3.25 and RB is 5.25. Coming into the third type of beam, simply supported beam, we have understood. Now this is the overhanging beam, students. So in the case of overhanging beam, you all know that there is some portion of the beam outside of the support. Here and here you have, on both sides you have some portion outside of the supports. These reactions, they represent that there is support at these points. All right, and some portion of the beam is outside the support, and such type of beams are known as overhanging beams. A beam having its end portion extended in the form of a cantilever beyond its support is known as overhanging beam. So here what is this particular portion can be imagined as a cantilever because it is supported on one side but there is no support on the other side. All right, it may be noted that a beam may be overhanging on one of its sides or both of its sides. Now it may happen that a beam might be overhanging from one side only, or it can be overhanging from both the sides. Means if you have support like this and this, so in this particular beam you have overhanging portion on only one side, you have overhanging portion on only one side, this side, but there is no overhanging on this particular portion. All right, so either you can have the overhanging part on one side or you can have the overhanging part on both the sides. All right, so this is the overhanging beam. Now we will take an example of finding the support reactions in the case of overhanging beam. The question, let's first of all read out this example. The span, total span means the total distance between the two supports, that is 3 meter. Means if this is the support RA, means support A at A, and this is the support at B. All right, so the total distance between them is 3 meter, and it is overhanging from both the sides. How much is the length of the overhanging? 1.5 meter and 1 meter. Now it is asking you to find the support reaction RA and RB. What you have to do, you have to calculate RA here, the support reaction, and you have to calculate the RB here, support reactions. So the same conditions of equilibrium we will use here. Summation of all the vertical forces equal to 0. Now when we will do summation of all the vertical forces equal to 0, students, what will happen? Let's see in the solution now. See, first of all, in this numerical, what we are going to do, we are going to calculate the summation of all the vertical forces equal to 0. Now from that, what we can calculate, from that we can get an equation between RA and RB. RA plus RB, if we go into the previous slide, from here we can write, students, summation of vertical forces is equal to 0. This means that RA plus RB, this will be equal to 1 kilonewton force plus 3 kilonewton. These are the point loads. Then coming into the concentrated, uniformly distributed load, 2 kilonewton into multiply 2 with the distance. How much distance is this 2 kilonewton is covering? 2 meters. So 2 into 2 is the point load in place of this UDL 2 kilonewton per meter. And for again there is 2 kilonewton UDL, and its length over it is spread over the length 1 meter. So the total it will be equal to 2 into 1. So RA plus RB will be equal to 1 plus 3 plus 4 plus 2. All right, so it is equal to 10. So in this way, one equation is this, and the second equation is from the moment. And from the equation of moment, we all know, first of all we will calculate the anti-clockwise moment due to RB about A, and it will be equal to, it will give you an equation like this. And what will be the clockwise moment? Clockwise moment you will calculate of all the forces about the point A. So this is the clockwise moment. Now when you will equate these two, you will get the value of RB, and putting the value of RB in the equation which we have derived for the summation from the condition of vertical forces equal to 0, we can get the value of RA. So in this way, RA and RB can be calculated. So this was all the discussions regarding the calculations of support reactions. Now we will solve some multiple choice questions to assess our understanding of the concept. Coming into the multiple choice question number 1. This is our multiple choice question number 1. What is the question saying to you? Question is saying to you that a simply support offers only dash reaction normal to the axis of the beam. We all know, we have discussed just now that a simple support gives only vertical reactions normal to the axis of the beam. All right, so the option B is the correct option. Option B is the correct options. Coming into the MCQ number 2. MCQ number 2. What is MCQ number 2? MCQ number 2 is saying that to avoid the dash stresses in beams, one end of the beam is placed on the rollers. So this is dash stresses. To why rollers are placed? Rollers are placed in order to prevent the extension and contraction due to change of temperature. So to avoid temperature stresses, or we can say thermal stresses, we keep roller support. So option C is the correct option. Coming into the next MCQ. This is the MCQ number 3. What is the question? The question says that dash support develops a support moment. Dash support means which support develops a moment. We all know that fixed supports develop the moment. So C is the correct option. Coming into the next 3 multiple choice questions. These are the First of all, going into multiple choice question number 4, what is the question saying to you? Hinge support is called as dash. So we all know that hinge support is also known as pin joint support. This means that D is the correct answer. Coming into the next multiple choice question, name the support from the following figure. So here you can see the support is developing. The support here is developing the moment, and the moment is developed by only fixed support. Moment is developed by only fixed support. So B is the correct options. Coming into the next multiple choice question, which is your MCQ number 6. So what is the MCQ saying to you? For a simply supported beam, the moment at the support is always. So we all know that simply supported beam, the moment at the support is always it is always equal to 0. There is no moment in the case of simply supported beam. So option B is the correct options. Going to the next 3 MCQs now. So this is the MCQ number 7. What is the MCQ saying to you, students? It is saying to you that hinge support offers resistance against rotation, whether it is true or false. So we all know hinge does not give support against rotations. Therefore B is the correct option, false. Next question, find the reactions at simple support A. Now in this question we have already solved some numerical based on this. You have 10 kilonewton, one equation you will get. If you will apply moment, you will get equation 4 into RB minus 10 is equal to 0. So RB will be equal to 2.5, and we all know from the equations of vertical forces equal to 0, you can calculate the value of RE. So when you will calculate, you will find the answer 7.5, and in the options D is giving you this value 7.5. So this was what? This was your 8th MCQ. Coming into the next multiple choice questions. This is your MCQ number 9. Hinge support offers vertical, and we all know that hinge support offers vertical as well as horizontal reactions. So option A is the correct options. This was your MCQ number 8. Alright, coming into the MCQ number 9. Continuous beams are, we all know that continuous beams can, in case of continuous beam, support reactions can be calculated. So they are basically continuous beams are basically indeterminate beams, because here we can't calculate the support reactions. So B is the correct option. Now coming into the next MCQ, a beam which extends beyond its supports can be termed as. Now if the beam is extending beyond the support, then it is the overhanging beam. Option A is the correct option. So in this way we have solved the 8th, 9th and the 10th MCQ, students. I hope you have understood everything which has been taught today.